Well, can't believe it. Almost finished. Lesson 8, the final lesson. So a little bit chance to begin getting there and relaxing as far as your students getting through and being able to, after this lesson, to be able to implement some stuff. The skill sets in this lesson that we're looking to have the students accomplish are fairly easy. It's basically is teaching them to convert their web maps to web application maps, or sometimes referred to as single panel story maps. We did consider, when the more complex story map templates came available to the public accounts, of adding another lesson. But what we found is that when that occurred, we had a group of 7th and 8th graders that were just finishing up on the mini course, and when they came back after the winter break, their assignment was to do a freestyle map, and they just took a look and just went in and figured out how to use those templates on their own. So we just, in the video, felt if we give the instructions of how to get to those builders using the storymaps.esri.com website and the app, is that they would be able to figure that out on their own. And again, those things can be very changeable. In this exercise, what we are adding the students to do is to take their maps from lesson 6, which is the importing data exercise, and to add a pop-up, which they learned how to do in lesson 7 with the on-screen digitizing, of a little story about the location that they had. In that process of the symbol to use, which they're actually going to make transparent, but I would recommend that they use the cross to do that, because you can center the cross right onto their point in their map 6 exercise, and it's the easiest to make transparent. In the video, besides doing the instruction, being the last video, we've got a section there that I call postscript, and there's a couple things we do talk about in there to the students. One of those things is the microprogram study that we're developing on going on to the next step. So that's something that you may want to take a look at and keep in touch with us to see where the progress is on that. Basically, the microprogram study, the next step beyond this mini course would be to do the other modules in the Introduction to Geospatial Technology course, which are all designed like this mini course is being flipped learning. And then going beyond that, once they complete that, is the next step as far as the GIS training would be to learn the Quantum GIS software, which is a good middle ground in preparation for the professional level ArcGIS 10 series, which is the current standard. I would say from this point forward, is that my role would be more to help them work on projects. As stated in that postscript, is that these 8 lessons really cover the basics. There is a lot of other things that the students could do, but instead of adding a whole lot of lessons, is our philosophy is just, okay, they've got the basics, let's have them apply what they have learned to projects that they want to do, and then they would be able to ask for advice and input of how to do these additional functions. So it's learning by doing. So in that sense, I sort of transitioned from just the straight nuts and bolts instruction to being an advisor and giving tips and advice on specifics of a feedback and a back and forth. So I would say, after your students complete this lesson, to be ready and turn them loose. I would say that to get the maximum benefit from what we've done over these 8 lessons is to be incorporating and having them apply what they learn to stuff in your content. And I would also talk to other teachers at your school site of what your kids have learned, what they are capable of, and encourage them to letting them use ArcGIS Online to fulfill requirements on other assignments. So I hope that you and your students have had a benefit from these 8 lessons, and I look forward to the potential of being able to work with you and your students on further aspects on our geospatial technology program.